Hey, what's going on, guys? Diver Down Reefer here. Tonight I'm going to go over my Skimz Cheato reactor and some sump maintenance that I do on a weekly basis. Alright, my first round with this Skimz Cheato reactor didn't go so well. I don't know if it was the Cheato or just not really knowing how to run it, but I think I was running the lights a little bit too long and I ended up burning it all off. And it was growing some cyano and lots of algae and stuff like that. I put a new couple clumps of the Cheato in on both racks about a month or so ago. I haven't touched it since. I've been putting the lights on anywhere between I don't know, 6 and 7 hours. I cut it down a few hours from the last go about it, and I'm just opening this thing up for the first time in a month. When I take the lid off my Cheato reactor, I do it fairly slowly. I don't want to disturb that gasket. It can be a pain in the neck to get back in, but once you've done it a few times, you get the idea of how it goes back on. So here I am opening it first time again. I'm just pulling it out, and there's definitely some growth there. You know, nothing spectacular, but there's definitely growth. I started out with about the size of a golf ball size on each tray, top and bottom, and it's grown now to about I guess about softball size or so. So it definitely has some growth, and I'm happy with it. At least I'm going in the right direction, that's for sure. So I'm just going to remove about half of the Cheato that grew out from the top and bottom rack, just so I can promote a little bit more growth, and it's got more room to grow. So I will try it again here in about 2 months. I'm going to let it go for a couple months and see how much more growth I get out of it. After I took the rack system out again on the Cheato reactor, I did see a little algae underneath the second tray, which I wanted to remove. Not a lot, just a little bit, which I guess is to be expected in your Cheato reactor. Just a little pile of it there, so I took that off. A little bit on the bottom tray, so all in all, wasn't too bad whatsoever. So, but I just did want to clean that up, so it wouldn't have to go back in the reactor. When you reinstall the rack system on the Cheato reactor, there's a gray pipe that slides down into a port on the bottom of the Cheato reactor. It slides right on top of it. That is your drain line. The water gets basically pumped up from the bottom of the reactor all the way up to the top, hits the acrylic lid, and then it overflows down that pipe back into your sump. When you install the light bar, you slide the light bar down right in the middle through the 2 holes in the rack system, and you line up the acrylic lid with all the 5 screws on the top. You basically slide it right down over top of the head of the screw, and you twist it just a little bit just to lock it in your key slots. You push it down, and then you tighten up all 5 screws. After tightening all the 5 screws, I turned the pump back on to make sure there's no leaks. You'll see it bubbling up here a little bit. That's after the pump is on. You can see the water level coming up, hits the top lid, now it's overflowing down. Now I know I have water running through that reactor, and then I can turn the light back on. You don't want to run the light without the water through it, because you can burn the light out fairly quickly. It's a high-powered light, so you definitely want to make sure you don't run it dry. Next thing on my maintenance for the week, I'm going to change out my filter floss. I did get rid of my filter socks many months ago. I hated cleaning them out. I thought they were a real pain in the neck. So I went out and purchased these canisters. You guys might have seen them before, but for me they're awesome. I love them. They're so much easier than having to wash 20 socks every month in the washing machine and hope it doesn't get any soap in them, stuff like that. Not a big fan. So these canisters do pretty well. It's basically just filter floss I put in there. I use this polyester filter fiber floss. I think I got it on Amazon. It's pretty cheap. Just put a small ball into the canister right there, and then slide it back in the system. It's pretty simple. After I'm finished with the filter floss, I come over here to the side and I have this strip of pinky filter floss that I remove as well and clean that out. You can kind of see that it was overflowing over top of it. It means it's pretty clogged up. It's been a little while since I replaced the last one. Pretty simple. I already have them pre-cut. I make these strips just a little bit fatter than the actual opening that I have. This one's kind of a pain in the neck for me to do, but I have to slide it kind of underneath of my dosing rack system on the back there. I like my dosing system right over top of my return pump, so it gets right on top of the return and gets dumped right back into the system. So I have to kind of sneak it underneath of it, no big deal, and then I just push it down in the slot. Pretty simple. Next thing on the list is the protein skimmer cup. This is a Skimz Monster 162 protein skimmer. I've had it for a year since I started up my system. It's been great. Real simple procedure. I basically just twist the cap off, take the cup out. I take it over to the sink, clean it out real good, put it back on. Real simple. While I'm in the sump doing my maintenance, I usually come by and clean it with the brush. I just give it kind of a little bit of a once over, get some detritus off the bottom of it, try to kick it up so it gets sucked up into the skimmer, into the filter floss, and then obviously back into the return chamber. But I like to keep a clean sump as much as I can. I don't like a lot of detritus laying around inside of it, so this is basically my weekly maintenance, guys.